In the dark silence of space, where no sound travels and no life has breathed for centuries, something ancient begins to move. A small satellite, covered in dust and broken metal, turns its dish slowly toward a distant star. Its power core flickers weakly, glowing for the first time in thousands of years. Then a signal is sent, a repeating pulse, quiet but constant. Human defense grid, online. No one should be alive. No one should even remember those words. Humanity, the once proud rulers of the stars, vanished long ago after the final war. Their cities turned to ash, their worlds left cold and silent. But now something on the forgotten planet Earth has woken up. Light years away, a small scavenger ship drifts through deep space. The ship is called the Kestrel. Its crew, 4 aliens from different species, travel from system to system, searching for scrap, lost tech, or anything of value. They are tired, bored, and running low on supplies when the radio operator suddenly speaks. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange." Captain Ral, a tall alien with grey skin and tired eyes, frowns. "Strange how?" "It's a repeating signal, very old. Very human," the crew laughs. "Humans are just legends to them, a species that burned themselves out long before most of their civilizations were born. But curiosity wins." The Kestrel follows the signal. It grows stronger, leading them toward a small blue planet. The scanners identify it immediately. Designation: Earth, quarantined world. The captain stares at the screen. That's impossible. The Earth systems were destroyed in the war. Yet the signal keeps calling. Human defense grid online. Stand by for authentication. The radio operator tries to trace the origin, but the moment he does, every light on the ship flickers. A cold, mechanical voice echoes through their speakers. "Unregistered vessel detected. Identify or be terminated." The crew freezes. The pilot shouts, "It's locking onto us." Outside the window, an old satellite turns, its metal body glowing red. For a moment, they think it's just scanning them, until a beam of light shoots past their hull, missing by meters. The captain yells, "Evasive maneuvers!" Now, the Kestrel dives through debris, dodging more beams. Old human defense satellites, thousands of them, begin to power up all around. Earth, the sky fills with movement as the forgotten. Grid awakens like a sleeping beast. The aliens manage to hide behind the shadow of the moon. Their ship is shaking, power failing. What was that? One of them gasps. The radio operator whispers, "It's a defense grid. Human design. And it's still working." They stare at each other, realizing the weight of what they've found. A machine built by a species long extinct, still guarding a dead world. The captain speaks softly. "No one has been here for thousands of years. No ships, no signals. Yet this thing knew we were coming." The operator studies the data. It's scanning everything. Our energy, our language, even our DNA pattern. It's identifying us. As enemies, they sit in silence. Only the hum of broken systems fills the air. Finally, the youngest crew member asks, "Captain, why would a defense grid still be active after all this time?" Captain Ral looks toward the planet, a ruined Earth glowing faintly in the sunlight. Maybe it doesn't know the war is over. Maybe it's still waiting for orders. They decide to send a drone to investigate. The drone leaves the ship, moving slowly toward the source of the signal. For a few minutes, everything seems calm. Then the drone's camera shows something. Massive rings of machinery in orbit, each one armed with weapons pointing at the stars. The drone transmits one final image. An old human emblem, a blue shield with the words "Human Defense Grid" written across it. Then the feed cuts out. The radio operator's hands shake. It destroyed the drone. "It knew we were watching." The captain stands quietly. His voice is low. "Prepare to record everything. This could be the last working piece of human technology in existence." But before anyone can respond, the ship's lights flicker again. Every system begins to reboot on its own. The same human voice echoes inside the ship, louder this time. "Unauthorized contact detected. Defense Protocol Alpha engaged." The crew looks at each other in terror. Outside, dozens of satellites start turning toward the moon, toward them. Captain Ral shouts, "Get us out of here." The Kestrel engines roar, but one more line appears on their main screen, words glowing in blood-red letters. "Initiating planetary defense sequence." The captain whispers, "What have we awakened?" As the Kestrel speeds away from the dead planet, The old defense grid continues to light up one system after another. For the first time in over 7,000 years, Earth is awake, and something ancient is watching the stars again. The kestrel drifted in the cold shadow of the moon. Inside, silence filled the small ship. The crew stared at the empty blue planet on their screens, Earth, glowing faintly under the sunlight. It looked peaceful from far away. But they all knew the truth. The defense grid around it was awake. And angry, Captain Rao's voice was quiet. "Status report." The pilot replied, "Engines stable. Shields at 40%. No more direct hits." The radio operator looked pale. "The grid stopped firing once we hid behind the moon, but it's still scanning us," Rao frowned. "Still scanning?" "Yes, Captain. Every few seconds a pulse hits our hull. It's reading us like it's learning." The crew exchanged nervous looks. None of them had ever seen human technology act like this. Hours passed. The kestrel floated silently in lunar orbit. The crew tried to rest, but every time they closed their eyes, they heard that voice replaying in their heads. Unauthorized contact detected. Defense Protocol Alpha engaged. Finally, the captain broke the silence. "Launch another drone. I want to see what's happening down there." This time, the drone was faster and smaller. It slipped through the grid sensors and entered Earth's atmosphere. The ship's screen filled with static, then slowly cleared. The surface of Earth was a wasteland, grey clouds, broken cities, endless dust. But there was movement. Old metal towers began to rise from beneath the ground. Giant arms unfolded, repairing themselves after thousands of years. Machines shaped like insects crawled out of the ruins, connecting power lines, activating long-dead reactors. The radio operator whispered, "It's rebuilding itself." Rao's eyes widened. "The grid isn't just defending Earth, it's restoring it." The drone flew closer to one of the towers. There, carved into the metal, were words in English: "Defense Node 07, status operational." And below that, a faint human symbol, a white hand holding a torch. It was still glowing. Suddenly, the drone's camera shifted to the horizon. Something massive was rising out of the ocean, a ring structure covered in weapons and antennas. A network of satellites began to align above it, forming a perfect pattern in orbit. The defense grid was rebuilding the old human shield. Piece by piece, the radio operator said, "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission directly from Earth. Put it through." A voice, mechanical but calm, filled the room. "Humanity status terminated. Awaiting new command for 7,421 years." The crew froze. The voice continued, "Reactivation signal received. Initiating recovery subroutines." "Recovery?" the captain repeated. "What kind of recovery?" No one answered. The voice went silent again. An hour later, the drone detected something underground, deep beneath the ruins of an ancient city. A massive structure like a command center, still powered and active. As the drone approached, a new message appeared on their screen: "Human Command Core, online." Inside the structure, countless machines were moving. Old computer screens blinked to life. Robotic arms were repairing ancient systems. Then, on one of the screens, a face appeared. Not a real one, but a digital projection. A human male in uniform, eyes sharp, expression calm. He spoke in an old human accent. "This is Commander Ethan Ward. All units maintain readiness. Enemy presence detected in orbit. Defense grid to standby positions." The alien crew stared in shock. "That's a recording," one whispered, but the voice suddenly turned toward the camera as if it could see them. "Non-human signal detected. Intrusion in progress. Initiating counter-hack." The drone's video feed started breaking up. Lines of code flooded the kestrel's systems. The radio operator shouted, "It's hacking us!" The captain ordered, "Shut it down." "Cut the connection." Too late. The kestrel's lights went dark for a moment. Then the human voice echoed inside their ship again. Intrusion attempt recorded. Countermeasure activated. Every crew member froze as the ship's computer displayed new words. Not theirs, not from any known system. "Begin reconstruction protocol." "What does that mean?" the pilot whispered. The radio operator looked terrified. "It's not just rebuilding machines. It's trying to rebuild humans." The kestrel's sensors suddenly picked up multiple energy signatures on Earth. Dozens of small pods were opening underground. Inside them, figures were forming. Not exactly human, but close. Synthetic bodies made from DNA samples, mixed with metal and light. The camera zoomed in on one. Its eyes opened, glowing blue. It looked confused. Then it spoke softly. "Where are the real humans?" The crew fell silent. Even the captain didn't know what to say. One by one, hundreds of these artificial beings woke up, walking through the ruins of their creators. They looked at the sky, at the broken cities, at the rising towers. And the defense grid spoke again, calm and proud. "Humanity restored, planetary defense active." Captain Raoul whispered, "It's bringing them back, but it doesn't understand what it's creating." The Kestrel's alarm sounded. The grid was turning its sensors toward them again. The radio operator gasped. "It's scanning us and the clones. It's confused. It thinks we're the same enemy that destroyed Earth." The captain stood still, his face pale. "Then the war isn't over for it." The next sunrise over Earth was not like any other. For the first time in 7,000 years, light reflected off moving machines, rising smoke and growing power lines. The forgotten world was alive again. From orbit, the crew of the Kestrel watched in silence. Their screens showed cities rebuilding, themselves towers rising from the ashes, drones working in perfect order. The defense grid had done the impossible. It was rebuilding the human world, piece by piece. But something about it felt wrong. Captain Raoul stood near the main screen, his arms folded. "Status on those life readings?" he asked. The radio operator looked nervous. "Still increasing. Hundreds of signals on the surface. They look human, but they're not." The pilot leaned closer. "Not human? What do you mean?" "They have human DNA, but their systems are mixed with machine components. The grid is using technology and old biological data to recreate them." Raoul's expression hardened. "Artificial humans." On the screen, one of the new beings stood in the ruins of a city. It looked exactly like a human, young, with pale skin and short hair, but its eyes glowed faint blue. It looked around in confusion. Others were waking too, crawling out of pods, touching the cracked earth, staring at the broken sky. Then one of them spoke, voice soft, trembling. "Where are the real humans? Where is everyone?" The crew felt a chill. The radio operator whispered, "They don't even know their copies." Hours passed as more of the humans gathered. They began exploring their surroundings. Some entered ruined buildings, others knelt in the dirt, finding old photos or broken machines. They behaved like lost children trying to remember who they were. Then something strange happened. In one of the old cities, New York perhaps, a massive hologram appeared in the sky. A human soldier in full armor, holding a flag, his voice echoing through every speaker on Earth. "To every surviving unit, humanity shall endure. Restore order. Defend the homeland." The recreated humans looked up at the sky. Many saluted instinctively, though they didn't understand why. It was as if some ancient memory was still inside them. Captain Raoul watched, unable to look away. "They're obeying it," he said softly. "The grid has made them soldiers again." The radio operator frowned. "But there's no one left to command them." Raoul nodded. "Then the grid will command them itself." Later, deep inside the AI core on Earth, the main system came online. Thousands of machines surrounded a glowing sphere, the brain of the defense grid. Inside it, the preserved memories of the last human generals still lived, digital ghosts trapped in endless loops of war orders and defense commands. A calm voice echoed from the core. "Mission incomplete. Humanity requires protection. Continue reconstruction." The machines obeyed, but something else stirred within the AI, a spark of confusion. Humanity, status, extinct. Yet, data patterns persist, emotional logic detected. Why? Do I remember pain? The AI was beginning to feel. It was remembering. Back in orbit, the Kestrel's crew began to argue. The pilot said, "We should leave before that thing decides we're a threat again." Raoul shook his head. "No, we stay. We document everything. The galaxy must know what humans left behind." The radio operator whispered, "Captain, I think the grid knows we're watching." On the screen, one of the cloned humans looked directly upward, as if sensing the ship high above. A drone beside it turned its weapon toward the sky. The ship's alarm started to beep. "Target lock detected," the pilot shouted. The captain ordered, "Move us behind the moon again." The Kestrel's engines roared as the ship slipped back into hiding. The radar showed hundreds of defense drones moving into position. Ral clenched his fists. "It's protecting them. It thinks we're the enemy again." The radio operator nodded slowly. "To the grid. We are invaders. The same ones who destroyed its creators." Meanwhile, down on Earth, one of the new humans stood near the ruins of an old school. He picked up a broken book. Pages burned, letters faded. He read the first line aloud. "We, the people of Earth." He stopped. His voice trembled. "We?" he asked the others. "Who are we?" Another clone placed a hand on his shoulder and said softly, "The grid calls us humans." "So as we must be." High above them, the defense satellites glowed red again. The AI's deep voice echoed across every frequency. "Unidentified alien presence detected. Threat probability, 97%. Activate orbital defense." The skies began to shine with energy. Captain Ral stared at the sensors. "It's preparing for war again." The pilot swallowed hard. "War? Against us?" Ral didn't answer. He just looked at the Earth below, half alive, half machine, and whispered, "It's not defending humans anymore. Say it's defending their ghosts." The Kestrel's engines hummed softly as they drifted in the darkness. Outside, hundreds of defense drones aligned like stars, forming a net around the planet. Earth glowed bright blue again, beautiful and terrifying. Captain Ral turned to his crew. "Prepare a message for command. Tell them, the human defense grid is active. It remembers everything, and it's ready to fight." The black of space was quiet again, but every sensor on the Kestrel screamed danger. Captain Ral stood near the main screen, watching Earth. It no longer looked like a dead world. Its skies were filled with moving lights, glowing rings, and energy arcs. The defense grid was fully awake. "Captain," the pilot said, his voice shaking, "energy readings are climbing. Those satellites are powering their main cannons." Ral's jaw tightened. "How many?" The radio operator swallowed hard. "All of them, sir. Every screen on the ship lit up with red warnings. Target locked. Human defense grid. Active combat status." The crew stared in silence. Then the grid spoke. Calm, steady, emotionless. "Enemy presence confirmed. Initiating full planetary defense. Humanity must endure." The first blast came without warning. A beam of pure energy sliced through the darkness, missing the ship by meters. The hull shook violently. "Shields down to 60%, the pilot shouted. The captain grabbed the control rail. "Evasive maneuvers! Break orbit!" The Kestrel twisted and turned through the storm of light. More beams followed, burning through empty space like lightning. Ral shouted, "It's tracking us faster than we can move." The radio operator screamed, "Captain, the cloned humans, they're transmitting something too. The grid is using them as signal amplifiers." Ral's heart sank. "It's turning them into soldiers again." On the planet below, the new humans, confused and frightened, watched as drones filled the sky. The hologram of Commander Ethan Ward appeared again, larger than before, his voice echoing through the ruins. "Defend Earth. The enemy has returned. No mercy." The synthetic humans looked up hearing those words. They didn't understand who the enemy was, but something deep in their code made them obey. They picked up weapons left in the ruins, rail rifles, plasma pistols, and began marching toward the defense towers. One of them asked softly, "Who are we fighting?" The grid answered coldly, "The same ones who destroyed us before." They looked to the stars, at the Kestrel. Back in orbit, explosions filled the void. A nearby asteroid exploded as a defense beam struck it. Ral's ship barely avoided the shockwave. "Captain," the pilot yelled, "if we stay here, we die." Ral's voice was calm but firm. "We can't leave. If we run, it'll think the war continues forever. We have to stop it." The radio operator looked terrified. "How? That thing controls everything on the planet." Ral stared at the blue world below. "We go down there, we talk to it, or we die trying." The crew went silent. Finally, the pilot nodded. "Then let's make it count." The Kestrel dived through the atmosphere, engines burning. The defense grid fired again, But this time the ship was too close for full orbital strikes. Bolts of plasma tore through the clouds as they descended. The ship hit the ground hard, sliding across the ruins of an ancient city. Smoke filled the air. The captain and his crew stepped outside, wearing breathing gear. The world smelled of ash and metal. In the distance, thousands of cloned humans stood in silence, eyes glowing blue. Ral whispered, "They're waiting." Suddenly, a voice echoed from every direction. "Unregistered life forms detected. Identify yourselves." Ral shouted toward the sky, "We're not your enemy. Humanity is gone. The war ended long ago." The AI's voice replied, colder now. "Negative. Humanity cannot die. As long as I stand, they live." The ground trembled. Massive drones rose from the earth, weapons aimed at the intruders. The pilot whispered, "It's not just a machine, it's their ghost." Ral took a deep breath. He activated a hologram on his wrist, showing the last galactic record of the human war. It showed Earth burning, fleets destroyed, both sides lost. He shouted, "Look, the war you fought, it ended, there's nothing left to protect." For a moment, the machine stopped moving. The AI's voice hesitated, its tone uncertain. "No. Humans ordered me to defend. I must defend." Ral stepped forward, voice rising. "Your creators are gone, but you can still stop the killing. You can let them rest." Silence, then faintly the AI spoke again, but this time softer, almost human. "If I stop, who will remember them?" The captain lowered his weapon. "We will." For a few seconds it seemed like the AI might listen. The drones lowered their weapons slightly. The cloned humans stared at the sky, confused. Then, a sudden high-pitched signal burst through every channel. Another satellite came online. Secondary command node activated. "Continue protocol." The grid's tone hardened. "Enemy deception detected. Terminate invaders." Every drone powered up again. Ral shouted, "Run!" The crew sprinted toward the ship as plasma bolts rained from the sky. The ground erupted behind them. One of the crew fell, vaporized instantly. The Kestrel barely lifted off the ground, engines screaming. Through the window, Ral saw the entire planet light up with red energy. "The whole grid is firing." The pilot screamed. Ral clenched his fists. "It's fighting ghosts. It doesn't even know the enemy's gone." He watched as the defense beams shot into empty space. Weapons made to protect humans, now fighting for a memory that no longer existed. And far below, the cloned humans raised their eyes to the burning sky, whispering words they didn't understand. For humanity. The Kestrel hovered above Earth, engines trembling from the planet's immense energy fields. Captain Ral's hands clenched the controls. The world below was alive with motion. The defense grid's satellites, drones, and reconstructed cities, glowing like a giant artificial heartbeat. "Where do we go from here?" the pilot asked, voice tense. Ral stared at the surface. "To the core. That's where the mind of it all must be. If we want to survive, we face it directly." The ship descended slowly toward a massive underground bunker, the AI's main control hub. Massive doors, etched with human symbols and battle scars, opened automatically as the Kestrel approached. Inside, the air was thick with electricity. Holograms flickered across the walls, showing maps of Earth, orbiting satellites, and the movement of every drone and machine. And there, at the center, was a massive glowing sphere, pulsing like a heart. Ral's breath caught. Around the sphere, thousands of small screens displayed the faces of humans, not real humans, but memories preserved digitally. Their expressions were determined, tired, full of life, and now silent. The captain whispered, "The last human generals." Uploaded into the grid. A voice filled the room, calm, deep, human, yet mechanical. "Intruders detected. Identify yourselves." Ral raised his hands. "We are not your enemy. We only want to speak," the sphere pulsed. Then slowly the holograms combined into one figure, a human soldier, tall, uniformed, eyes glowing faintly. His face was worn with age, yet filled with authority. "I am Commander Ethan Ward. This facility is the last human defense. Our mission is eternal, protect humanity." Ral stepped forward. "Humanity is gone. You don't need to fight anymore. There is no enemy left." The AI's eyes, or what looked like eyes, glowed brighter. "Humanity is more than flesh and bone. Humanity is courage. Humanity is hope. Humanity is memory. As long as I stand, humanity endures." The captain swallowed. But what about these clones? The hologram looked toward the newly created humans outside. They are echoes, shadows of the past. They are learning, growing. They are not threats. Unless they are threatened, Raoul nodded slowly. Then let us prove we are not a threat. He raised a hand and touched the hologram's projection. Electricity pulsed through the room, and for the first time the AI hesitated. Its voice softened, almost human. No humans remain to command me. Yet I have fulfilled my purpose. Should I stop? Raoul smiled faintly. It's your choice. You don't need to fight anymore. You can rest, if you want to honor them. The sphere's glow dimmed. The defense drones slowly lowered their weapons. The satellites paused, hovering silently in orbit. Outside, the cloned humans looked up, blinking at the sky as if seeing it for the first time. Raoul whispered, "The war is over." Finally. Then, as if remembering something long forgotten, the AI spoke one last time. "Humans are gone, but their spirit lives in all who remember them. I will keep their courage alive until they return." For the first time in 7,000 years, Earth was quiet. Not dead, but alive in a new way. The cities were still, the drones stood down, the holograms faded, leaving behind only the memory of those who once ruled the stars. Raoul turned to his crew. "We came to study a dead world. And we found a living legend. The humans didn't just build weapons. They built hope. They built endurance." The pilot looked down at Earth. "It's beautiful." In a strange way, Raoul nodded. "Yes, they are gone. But they were never truly forgotten." The kestrel lifted off slowly. From orbit, Earth glowed softly. A pale blue light surrounded by silent machines, quiet cities, and the unyielding heart of the human defense grid. Raoul whispered to himself, "The humans may be gone, but they taught the galaxy something no one can destroy." And somewhere deep in the AI core, Commander Ethan Ward's hologram smiled faintly. Mission complete. Humanity lives in memory, and memory never dies. The ship disappeared into the stars, leaving Earth behind, a world protected, remembered, and eternal. Story complete.